Obviously, Dad has been on my mind and the subject of many stories among our family over the past weeks as we prepared for his death. And one of those memories that was sparked back in my brain as I was praying over the scriptures this week was the spring planting on the farm, specifically planting corn. See, unlike today with these multi-row, no-till planting techniques guided by GPS, Dad planted corn with a 2-row corn planter. And when I say Dad planted corn, I mean Dad and Dad alone planted the corn. He never trusted anyone to get the rows straight enough to satisfy his Swiss character. So when that corn came up, it had to be perfect. There was no wiggle room. And truth be told, it was always perfect. I was thinking about that and comparing it to the sower in the gospel parable today, planting seeds indiscriminately, just throwing them out there. Doesn't care where they land, just that it's sown. Now the sower was God, and the seed that he was sowing was his word, and still is. That word that creates all that is. The word that at one moment became flesh in the person of Jesus Christ. The word that whispers and sometimes shouts into our hearts of God's mercy, God's love, his joy, his compassion, of all that is right and good and just. God just throws it out there, knowing full well that some of it will thrive and a lot won't. But that's the point, isn't it? God is always abundant, prodigal, generous, wasteful beyond our imagination. Why? Well, that's because who God is. God cannot be anyone else or do anything else, but also so that we will do the same. Not wasteful of the resources that are limited and scarce, but generous and indiscriminate in sharing what God has given us that has no limit. Because we naturally move into this self-preservation and place of security. We tend to live out of this mindset of scarcity, fearing that, well, we may not have enough, so I better keep a little extra for myself in reserve. Just need to be careful how much we give away, how vulnerable we will be. Can't afford to be too generous with that, right? But see, God defies that view of life because God just gives it away. It's God's way of telling us, do the same. When you love, love completely, not conditionally. And when you forgive, forgive without reservation. And when you give abundantly. And when you embrace, embrace with both arms so that no one will be outside your embrace. And when you listen, listen to the whole story, not just the easy part. See, that's the invitation today through our scriptures, to grasp that abundance of God in such a way that we will be more ready to live in that abundance ourselves, to accept the forgiveness of God so fully that we will forgive with a heart that is without measure, to recognize the generosity of God in such a way that we will give beyond what our instincts tell us to give, to be less calculating in our level of tolerance, to be less cautious about who we welcome into our presence, to sow the seeds of God in this world without measure. That's the invitation. And it comes with a promise, the same promise that the prophet offered, assuring us that if we do, it shall not return to us void, but it shall do the will of God and achieve the end for which God sent it.